Hello again. I'd like to show you what I've done in the last little while to continue on my project of rendering the Star Frontier's frontier sector in 3D using Celestia as the rendering engine. So first of all, I've created a script that we can run at the startup of Celestia that takes you directly to the frontier. This script runs us directly there. So Celestia starts up, backs away from the sun, points ourselves at the frontier, that square that we see up there, flies us some 20,000 light years out to it, aims us at it, and there you go. There's the frontier with what I've added since then. So the first thing you'll notice is there's some extra jump routes here in this blob over here. So again, everything in the cube is Alpha Dawn Zebulon's Guide stars. Anything from the modules and them are right there. So I don't add any stars inside there. I just maybe move them around and adjust them a little bit, but everything else that you see is actually outside the cube. So fan cannon, we have rotated 90 degrees from what it was presented in Frontier Explorer. We have the Saurian sector over here in red. Okay, coming from the Liberty system out. So if we rotate back around, these blue routes were added. That's the Beyond the Frontier modules. Here's Rihanna. Here's the jump route to Sundown. Also, laying over here, let me rotate around a little bit. This is at 45 degrees off from Frontier Explorer, another set of worlds. Back out just a little bit so you see them all. These are the Saurian sector. Scoot in a little bit so you can see the names will show up. There we go. Kasharix, Sisisudin, and the races or the worlds next to it that happen to also be trade partners with them. So if we rotated to the side of the frontier, you'd see that what I did is I built those worlds at 45 degrees from the frontier, so that all this space out to the right is the vast expanse. Then notice this world right here, Yaziri. Starfrontiers.us discussions about Yaziri, Starfrontiersman article about a brown dwarf. Let's go see what's this system. If you come into Yaziri, we just passed a little something floating around, or spinning past it, flying past it. Yagalak. Here's our brown dwarf from Yaziri, passing through, having mucked up the life of the Yazirians. Go to the Yagalak, and here's our brown dwarf. And if we rotate around, there's Yaziri. He's on his way away after having messed up the system. Haven't added any planets to that or anything, but there. Also, all the binaries are now actually binary stars. Let's go back out, and we'll just go back to viewpoint, go, triangular, center, follow, rotate us around. The other thing you'll notice, that big blob I mentioned, this is my first beginnings of learning about nebula. I borrowed this nebula, didn't create this one, just borrowed it from another add-on in Celestia, and then placed it where the lesser Morris would be and sized it to the approximate size. Oh, I'm getting jerky on my frame rate. So there we go, sitting there. Monkeying up the world for all those trying to get to Zebulon or wondering why there's not a fast star route from Zebulon down to Yazirian space. Over here is Srifran and Belnifar. But Now, task for me is to go learn Blender really good to generate some meshes that I can then texture and put in here and continue and build all the nebula out. Then the last thing I did is I finished all the HTML pages that were existing that got broken before. I fixed those so that they point to the local install. Unfortunately, that's a little gotcha with Celestia. There's no generic place to point to, so if you install and it's in a different place than where I installed, then you have to go edit the individual SCC files to have the info URLs point to your location. But if I go over here to Sundown, look at the system, and then go get info on that system, it'll immediately pop up the web page of the StarGen generated system. No, going from the star doesn't do that. I need to go from one of the planets. Sorry. Go from Sundown 5, info, it'll bring up, there we go. So here's the star system is StarGen helped me generate, with Sundown 2 being the planet that matched up with the characteristics from the module for Star Mist. So there you go. So hope you've enjoyed. We will add some more later when I've added more to the frontier, but there we go.